This tutorial will show you an example on how to run a simulation in parallel. By means of parallel programming, the program can be run on several processes at the same time. There are 4 main steps when you would like to run your case in parallel. Firstly, you have to copy a bash script into the Bluebear cluster. This script can be submitted as a job into the cluster. The job can also be adjusted before submission. Secondly, the case needs to be decomposed into a number of processes. Thirdly, the job can be submitted into the cluster. Finally, the case needs to be reconstructed. Now we will show you how to perform the aforementioned steps. We will now copy the bash script file from our own machine to the Bluebear cluster. The bash script contains information about the job. This line tells that the simulation will be run on one node, and will use 4 processes. The maximal wall time will be 15 minutes. You define the name of the job here. This can be any name that makes sense to you. This line tells that the job will be executed with the interfoam solver, in parallel, and using 4 processes. The output will be saved in a logrun file. We will now have a look into the decompose par dictionary. This dictionary is a file that sets the case up, so that it can be run on multiple processes. The file is located in the system directory of the case. Number of subdomains indicates the number of processes we wish to run on. Method indicates the method of domain decomposition. Simple is selected, and so the domain will be split into an equal number of sections, as described in the simple coefficient subdirectory. The simple coefficient specifies that the x-coordinate will be split into 2 parts, and the y-coordinate will be split in 2 parts, giving a total of 4 parts altogether. The next main step is to decompose the case. By decomposing, the case will be split into a number of directories, labeled as processor, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Note that when the simulation is run, time directories will be placed inside the processor directories. The case can be decomposed with the decompose par command. As you can see, OpenFOAM provides information about the decomposition of the geometry. For each processor, the total number of cells, faces and patches are given. Now we can submit the job into the cluster. To test the case, you can use the test queue, BB test. Jobs up to half an hour, and up to 8 processors, can be submitted into this queue. Larger jobs can be submitted in the default queue. The status of the job can be checked by the command qstat. In the status column the status of the job is indicated. In this case a queue is shown, indicating that the job is in the queue. When a R is shown, the job is running. When the simulation has been finished, the results can be obtained. Since the case is currently in a decomposed state, time directories require recomposing using the reconstruct par command. The case can now be converted to an insight file and the results post-processed. This is the end of the tutorial on parallel programming. Thank you for watching the OpenFOAM tutorials. More tutorials can be found on the OpenFOAM website.